It's a rap.
What were you rapping about?
It's a souvlaki, it's not a rap.
Right, how are you, mate?
Very good.
Let's
Very
try.
good.
Take two.
Take two.
Right, okay, so I'm okay, so there's a camera. That's the
there.
lens if you want to talk into that.
Under the...
So I'm with Joe, who's heading up the Foundation Recovery Coaching School here in Perth, Australia, and this interview is with Joe. Say hello, Joe.
Hello, Joe.
Right, morning, mate. How are you?
All right, good.
Good. You look a lot happier.
Yes?
Yeah. How's life?
Much better.
Yeah.
Much better.
Let's talk about recovery.
Yes.
How's your recovery?
Going well, I think. Going well.
How do you measure success?
I measure success around alcohol in particular.
Mm.
When I don't ever notice an urge to think, oh, fancy a drink.
Yeah, well, it's been 9 years now.
9 years
so-
now. Very rare.
Yeah.
Very
Okay.
rare.
So you put the drink down,
Mm-hmm.
and then you needed to learn how to live.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
What's the past 9 years been like?
Oof, like that. Roller coaster times. I think the lads my sons kind of filled that gap as well. You know, they embraced the addiction thing, mostly drugs rather than drink. What else?
It's often like that in families where the parents drink, the kids will turn to drugs, and then they kind of hide the addiction stuff by saying, well, at least I'm not an alcoholic like my dad.
Yeah.
You know, I'm doing this stuff, it's much better.
Yeah.
And as we both know, addiction's not about the substance, it's about the behaviour.
Exactly.
Yeah. And the substance was the kind of the solution,
Yes.
but it stopped working.
Yeah. It didn't work. I think a few times I would drink myself. I drink so much. I had just a horrible large capacity for drinking. You know, I could just keep going. People would drop all over the place, and I'd be going still.
The marathon man.
Marathon man of the drinking world. Yeah.
Okay.
It's like perverted kind of pride in being able to outdrink, 400 guys in a squadron or something. Mental. It's like all that. Been really handy if. I think at that time as well when I'd started drinking heavily in the RAF and the Air Force. I think I was I was so disappointed and traumatised because I was actually losing the dream that I had. I dreamed that the service was all about actually service. Being prepared to put yourself through all sorts to be fit enough and strong enough and ready to pay the ultimate price. When I looked around, it seemed everyone was a fucking alcoholic. I was like, what the fuck?
Disillusioned, huh?
Yeah. Very disillusioned.
Okay. So, just give us a bit of, just tell everyone your kind of academic qualifications in the field of psychotherapy. Because
Well, I did 3 years of psychotherapy training.
Yeah.
Hakomi, it's called. It was a mindfulness-based psychotherapy. That was 2005 to was it 5 to 7 or 4 to 6? I can't remember. I've got my certificate over there. Something like that. 3 years anyway. And then after that, I kind of got really interested and realised that itself wouldn't be enough to open any doors, and thought I'll go do a psych degree. So I went as a mature age student and did a stat test. Because back when I was young and I joined the RAF, one of the reasons I joined the RAF was to get away from the north of England and get away from the unemployment and get away from poverty. So I first of all went to the Navy, and then I did the tests, and the Navy said, oh shit, yeah, great, come in as an officer, but we're going to want you to go to uni first. We'll give you the bursary. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean? Well, we'll pay you to go to uni, for 3 years, and you come back and you join. And I was like, why the fuck do I want to go to uni for 3 years? Because I'm already sick of school. I've wasted my last 11 years there. Bollocks to that. So I went and did the similar test with the Air Force and they just snapped my hand off. Like, big mistake really in hindsight. But there was something I needed to do around that, because there's no one in my direct family that ever got a degree. So I was up against all kinds of agreements and family bloody limitations and betraying working class background and all that, you know. And even so much, I was there for 6 years. I started off doing a double degree, education and psychology. It's just a war of attrition for me. Like, my inner demons came and, you know, rationalising why I shouldn't do it, why I couldn't be a teacher, because I don't believe in that curriculum system, and I don't believe in boxing people in. I don't believe in judging them and saying, well, if you get this, then you'll be worthy. You know, I hate all that because it reminds me of what I believed. So it was, as close I got to the end, I realised my completion barrier was very powerful. So I dumped education after 3 years and just went across to psychology, and I just couldn't face. I just kept sabotaging the 4th year. That, you know, doing the thesis and all that stuff. I just couldn't do it. Couldn't force myself to do a crappy thesis that I didn't care about and thought nobody would ever read about. And it seemed a perfect way to sabotage myself, not to go on and, you know, go for certification and
all right. Well, we know you're clever.
So it's all that crap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've done your time in the academic world.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the self-help stuff you've done, what we call recovery capital. I know you've been very involved in the Mankind Project and Pathways.
Yeah.
And just tell us a bit about all that stuff.
All right. Well, Pathways to Manhood's an initiation thing for young fellas, the boys between 13 and 15. Go out with a dad or a significant man. Sometimes we used to provide a mentor sometimes if there isn't a man in their life.
Okay.
That's really great. I did all those with my sons as well, as going on to become facilitator and that with it. It's just been fantastic over the last 12 years seeing so many young fellas and dads. It's been like a catalyst for lots of people doing their own personal work. Because so many dads would do that with their sons and go, I never had any process like this when I was, you know, a young fella. So they've started asking questions and gone on and done Mankind and other works as well.
Okay.
So there's all of that. Turning Pointy stuff, which was a big cathartic weekend, you know, about 16 years ago. Did that. That was really great. And lots of breath work.
And tell us quickly about your New Leaf.
Oh yeah, I do these New Leaf workshops. I've been doing for about 3.5 years now. I do about one a month.
Yeah.
And that's a workshop for men and women about emotional intelligence. I always have difficulty getting in a nutshell what it's about. I think that's half my bother with marketing.
Well, it's a breakthrough weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the best way to kind of.
It's a breakthrough weekend, but it's done with a very mindful and gentle leaning, you know.
An educated, calculated, constructed, safe, ethical weekend.
Yeah.
That challenges people to live the kind of lives that they want to live.
Yeah, and it's the core of it. I say at the beginning, you know, if you want to get the most out of this workshop, is how you do it. You take full responsibility for your emotions and your actions. You participate as fully as you can, like moment to moment. You be honest with yourself and others. And what else was there? Something. Anyway. I can't remember, it doesn't matter.
Okay, so this is why we want to partner with you to create the Recovery Coaching School here in Perth. And what we do is we use coaching skills to create recovery capital.
Yes.
And recovery capital are the external and internal resources that the coachee or the recovery can use to create a world of recovery. So let's just talk about the substance abuse problem here in Western Australia, and if you could just share from that space.
All right. Close to home, there seems to be a lot of meth around. A big meth problem. Here, there's a lot of cocaine around. I don't know because I'm not really into that, or any of that. I'm not into it, but meth for sure is causing. There's a massive crime wave coming around there, around because of meth. There's a lot of young people, a lot of suicides around. So there's lots of addictive behaviours, not just drugs actually. There's addiction to all sorts of shit. Alcohol, violence, pornography is a big addiction it seems in society in Western Australia. Maybe all over the place. And when I think of addiction, for me, I think of addiction as something that takes me away from who I really am, who I actually want to be in the world. And so that's how I know that none of that works for me anymore. There's no way, there's nothing in me that ever thinks, I'll just have a drink. Because even after 9 years, that would be a disastrous thing for me to do. It would be like throwing all that, for me, it would be like throwing away all the progress, all the hard work I've done. I'm not doing that again. Because some of it was so bloody hard.
What's one of the gifts of being sober?
One of the gifts is I never have to wake up in a shame fest. I never have to wake up thinking, oh my God, the crap behaviour I did last night. I could never get away with the bullshit excuse I've heard, like, oh, I was drinking, I can't remember. I could always remember every frigging thing, it was horrible. So I love
the shame of the
hangover and wasting money that I didn't have and behaving appallingly to people and behaving appallingly to myself. It's pretty bad. It was like a toxic storm, and I would have to have a drink to get rid of the storm of the shame, and off we go again.
So let's talk about recovery now.
Yeah.
So recovery is about talking about the solution, and not going on and on and on
lost
about
again.
the problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you think Western Australia needs?
It needs a multi-pronged approach to what's a very complicated problem. It needs a kinder way of working actually than just judgment.
Okay. So not shame-based recovery, not that the finger.
Thou shalt not.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So getting to what the real need is, the years of working on myself and working with other people, I'm starting to realise the underlying needs the same. But people want to be loved, they want to be valued and respected, and what's wrong with that? And if they don't ever feel that, they go, well...
Treated with dignity
what's
is a
wrong
word
with
that
that?
comes to mind.
Yeah. Great idea.
In a previous interview with you, you mentioned your anger, and how the word you used was noble anger.
Yeah.
Can we speak about noble anger for a bit?
Yeah. So noble anger...
Because you're a powerful man, you're a strong man, and imagine when you rage and that fucking anger gets out of control, hell...
could break loose.
Yeah, okay.
But
when you're in control of it and you're using it as a noble act of service, fucking wonderful things happen.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to cry there.
Yeah.
I really do, because I feel really safe around you. So let's just talk about coming from that space.
Yeah, thanks. Because that's always been my intention with it, and it's not always been received that way. I've kind of used it as a way to keep people safe, and like sometimes in my zealousness, I've created more fear for them than was there in the first place. you know. And so noble anger, I think, or like all emotion, I think, is not good or bad. It's just emotion, and it's just energy that needs to move. It's the not moving of it that causes the problem, or it's the moving of it in an unconscious way that causes problems too. But for anger, especially for me, it's like a powerhouse. There's like a bloody nuclear reactor in there. If I let it loose, my head's falling off left and right. But what I mean, so I think about it as something out there needs to change, something in here wants it to change, and it's always something to do with safety as well. Like someone's, like if there's often like a part that gets triggered around injustice. Like injustice is a big thing for me. Like I see people have been unfairly
treated.
Oh, look out! You know. But I'm working on. I believe I'm doing all right. Much better with it anyway. At keeping spaces safe, and I can use that now as just energy. You know. I know when to go. That's enough of that. In a way that doesn't have to like shame somebody. Just go, okay, we'll hold that. We'll move on for now. Whereas at one time I would have just gone after the person who was doing something, you know, in a container. I'll really go after them. I wouldn't do that again. But that doesn't help, because that's that power over thing. That's what I used to do. Power over thing, I reckon that's what creates almost all problems on the planet. Thinking now I have to control and manipulate and crush someone to my will.
So that's, I mean, I love the way you come in there, because what recovery coaching is about, it's more of a power under. It's much more of we're supporting you. Like, what does recovery look like for you? Yeah, as opposed to we're going to dictate what recovery
I'm the
looks
expert,
like.
you do what I say.
Yeah.
I like that idea even. I like that power under thing, and I don't think of it like that normally, but I think of it as like power alongside of, you know, to support that way.
Okay.
Energetically, feels healthier for me than under, like alongside of.
Okay.
Because if you know, if I'm got to have some harsh words or feedback from or to someone, it works better if I'm sitting beside them than if I'm like in a confrontational position. So power it's a sharing of power rather than imagining I've got all the power over them. And then that creates space for stuff to happen. I've got no idea what it's going to be, but it's going to be good. And I don't have to have all the answers in that, you see. From that role, I don't have to have all the answers. They've got the answers for them.
So let's just move to roles quickly. If that's so. On the one hand, you're a masterful kind of therapist, and on the other hand, you're a father. You're a single father for 5 years. You brought up 4 children, 1 daughter, 3 sons. You're now in another marriage. You have another child, and your addiction is you've been struggling with addiction in the family system. Is that a respectful way of saying it?
Yeah.
Okay. So how's the dance between those 2 roles?
Well, it can be like in an instant. I forget all about the skills and everything else.
Yeah, okay.
And immediately I'll be telling people what arseholes they are.
Okay. It's humbling that. I have the same struggle in my family. On the one hand, I have all the answers here and everyone thinks I'm brilliant, but when it goes home to my place, I'm kind of can be dysfunctional and fuck it up. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
That's why it's important to have supervision around this stuff.
Yeah.
So like recovery coaching, supervision, and just to kind of help with the challenge of the roles coming together.
Yes. Yeah, it's tricky, all right. I mean, one of my sons now lives in Queensland, one's down south Bridgetown, and it seems a good thing for them, like situationally, to not be in this vicinity, the home, but also the local environment. and all the connections and friends and things that pull them back into that world. It's been helpful for them to get themselves away from drugs. Seems that way anyway.
Yeah, you see, one of the struggles we have and why relapse is so high is because when people come out of treatment, they go back to their environments where there's very little recovery capital.
Yeah.
And recovery capital would be like working with the family members to kind of help them with their anger and frustration and shame and...
Yeah.
Can you talk a bit about your challenges?
Yeah, well, you know, even though I know it's definitely one of the things not to do, take things personally. You know, when I've done Miguel's first rules, I think, straight away I'd be taking it personally.
For example?
For example, if my kids are on drugs, I blame myself and I feel guilty. I feel ashamed that I'm separated from their mum and all the wounds that I've caused and all the times I've been really flaming angry or times I've been pissed in the old days.
So it's all your fault.
Like my fault. It's a
Regret
good Catholic
and
thing,
remorse.
you see. It's a Catholic thing.
Yeah. Well, it's not a Catholic
For me,
thing. It's a universal thing, but the Catholic thing explains it for the Catholic community.
Yeah.
But when we get down to it, doesn't matter what religion, whether it's Islam, Judaism or whatever, the family members often feel it's their fault and they're filled with guilt and shame. And then when you try and create recovery from a place of guilt and shame, it's a fuck up.
Of course.
If I was coaching you, what I would suggest is how can you create that recovery coming from a place of anger? Clear anger that creates healthy boundaries.
Yes.
How would you do that?
I've never fucking done it yet, so I don't know. I think the anger's not been, it's never been clear when I get embroiled with that subject.
Okay. So let's just talk about it now, if you're all right.
Yeah. So then we'll be coming up against the hardest thing, which is setting them boundaries that says if you're going to use any drugs in my home, you're going to not be living here. That sort of thing.
So what's the challenge with that?
Challenge with that is frightens the life out of me.
Oh, because?
Because I don't want my sons to be killed by someone out there, and I don't want to see them dead in a ditch somewhere. And
scarier.
I don't want to live with a life of guilt. Imagine I put them there. I want to keep them safe, and I feel powerless, and I get really angry because I can't keep them safe, and I fucking don't like it. I want to keep them safe. And I haven't done a good job of it keeping them safe, and that makes me more fucking angry.
Okay, that's bullshit.
Yeah,
for a
no,
start.
that's what I mean.
You've done a great fucking job. Yeah. Okay, sure. There's, there's. Everyone could have done better, but okay.
Yeah. And I.
So just to kind of. To say the facts, I'm really scared if I put in boundaries.
Yeah.
My kids are gonna die.
Yeah.
Just fucking bottom lining it. Yeah. Okay. And if you don't put in those boundaries?
I'm gonna die. Okay. I'd rather I was the one that died. If someone had to die...
What do you mean? How are you going to die? You're not going to die.
No, but energetically, you know, there's something, I don't know what the fuck it is, but if by some way of sacrificing myself I could save them from any amount of trouble or pain, I would happily do it. I wouldn't mind.
And what if that was the problem?
I know, it probably is the problem now. I've just said it out loud. I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay. Okay. Tell us more about that. Like, what the fuck?
Well, I found my throat trying to close up. I can't take responsibility for them. They're adults now.
How old are they?
21, 23, 25.
Okay.
No. It's such a mishmash of fucking mess in there because times I've had my hopes up and imagine the, on the straight and narrow, and then backslide. It's like I feel like I get kicked again and again, and I don't want to build my hopes up, but I do want to build my hopes up, and so I just end up, I don't know anything, and that's really scary for me, because I've wasted such a lot of time, well, not wasted, but put a lot of time and effort into trying to know loads of stuff. When it comes to something like as important as this, I feel like I didn't know anything.
Listen, mate, I fucking built a rehab to try and sober up my father.
Yeah.
It doesn't fucking work.
No.
Yeah. It's but what has been good about it is I've done a lot of good in the world.
Yeah.
And I say that with humility.
Yeah.
I mean, it hasn't been just me. Obviously, there's a whole lot of people there, but
Yeah.
But what I've managed to do is turn that thing, seen it for what it is, and then to respond in a different way, in a healthier way.
Yes.
Does that?
Yeah. Well,
and this is what I see in you.
Yeah.
I mean, you've got your kind of family that's needing recovery, and then you've got this career and this school that you can really like, it's from as an outsider, this community desperately needs.
Yes.
And I really see this as a kind of a benefit. Recovery capital.
Yes.
Like your dysfunctional family stuff is the perfect recovery capital that is needed to create empathy and understanding and compassion, so that other people, other families can find their recovery based on their values and their kind of their culture.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the thing I talked to you about before about building, like I wanted to build rammed earth things with, particularly young fellas. I've got this dream that I would love to build rammed earth houses, particularly circular shaped. I've got a thing about circular shape when I want to build myself a studio out here. 10 metre diameter with 4 circular windows in it. I'm pretty clear of what it's going to look like. But it's not just that, it's about, I would like then to find a way, young people, it's like my son's stuff that's happened with my son's is like been drawing my attention for all these years, and it's like, well, I'm not really...
So you've been addicted to his stuff?
Yeah.
And it stopped you from building your dreams? Yeah. Okay.
And now I'm thinking I could combine something that I really want to do, which is that building process, but I want to use that building process as like a therapeutic process as well.
Correct.
So, have a young man or young woman who perhaps their parents would like them to have some degree of independence, and they've got a bit of land and got lots of space in WA. So they might say, come in and build like not just a crappy old granny flat, but like a beautiful round dwelling. Do it beautifully. But have that person involved in the building of it as well. Okay. So they get conscious about what they're putting into their place that's going to be their home for however long of a time. And so we wouldn't even strike up the compressor till whatever was on top was dealt with. So we'd like begin the working day with a check-in. And we like, if there's stuff needs to be dealt with there and then around anger or whatever, we'd deal with it before anyone strikes a blow for the day. And I reckon
we've got 1 minute left.
1 minute. The pressure is on.
The pressure is on. So just close it up. Just close it up and bring them home.
Bring them home. Bring them home. So, but bringing them home, we're building homes with that thing. And it'd be great practice on all building sites if we did that. And you'd have a lot less accidents at work and a lot less people not going home. But there's something about moving the energy, because energy needs to move, and getting conscious about moving and what you're doing. I think there's something in the hard physical labour of that, especially for young fellas. I think it'd be great.
Okay. What do you want to say in closing?
Well, what I'm also learning about therapeutic work, addiction, anything. It's not only one person that needs the work. I mean, I'm clear I need to keep doing work, and I get benefits from working with people.
Okay. So the best way that you can help your family is to keep working on
Yeah,
yourself.
exactly.
Beautiful. So thank you very much.
Thanks. Lovely.
Bye, mate.
Brilliant.